Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Let's Max Warframe. We continue to hack and slash our way through the brand new Syndicate melee weapons, taking a look at my second favourite of the new ones, the Vaykor Sydon. Now I kind of like the original Sydon, even though I thought it should have been more of a stabby weapon. So what's changed with the Syndicate version? Well, it can be bought from the Steel Meridian Syndicate for the huge standing cost of 125,000, requires max rank to even be able to pick it up, and a mastery rank requirement of 8. So it's got some fairly high requirements there, but it's a pretty decent upgrade of the original. Higher base damage of 85.1, the majority 80.8 coming in the form of puncture, 4.3 is impact, literally no slash damage whatsoever. This not only makes it the second hardest hitting polearm in the terms of base damage, but the highest puncture based weapon in the game. Its supplemental stats, they're also pretty solid. 15% crit chance, 200% multiplier, puts it in the range of Blood Rush body count combo being effective. Then you combine that with a decent status chance of 25% as well, so you can really put out some status procs pretty quickly. Add to that a slightly faster attack speed of 1.1, and a fantastic range that can be boosted with prime reach, and a high slide attack damage means that it can put out some serious damage as well, over a pretty decent area of effect. But that's where the prime reach really does shine. It's not with just the slide attack damage, but also with the innate buff that replaces the Justice effect, and that is for every 15 shots blocked with the weapon, it's going to charge up a radial blind. That's applied when you release the block key. Now this functions exactly like Excalibur's radial blind. It opens them up to finishers for 5 seconds. The thing to remember is that if you release the block before the blind is charged, you will not blind at all, and in addition to that, if you even attack with the weapon before you've released the blind, it will cause your stacks that you've built up to disappear. The range of this with prime reach on it is insane and well worth modding for. The base range is 15 meters. I've had issues testing the exact range, but it increases to something like 40 meters, which is definitely amazing. And according to data mine stats, it also has a 50% chance to resist knockdown as well. Although it doesn't say anything in game about this at the moment, definitely does seem to have something like that built in, because I've definitely resisted some knockdowns with it equipped, and no mods that I basically will do that installed onto my frame. So that is another really useful passive ability that it seems to have, unless I'm purely just imagining it. Now the stance is completely personal preference. I prefer Shimmering Blight because in a few of the combos it has a fairly high attack. That can really easily hit ospreys, knock out cameras, stuff like that. However, I'm not going to say one is better than the other, it's all going to come down to your personal playstyle. In terms of builds though, I do have 2 variations of my builds. One built for speed, one built for slide attacks. First build, 2 former, adding 2 Vs to the 1 V that the Rippin originally came with. Prime Pressure Point, Prime Reach, Blood Rush, Body Count, Berserker, Organ Shatter, and then 2 90% Elemental mods. This makes the weapon go so incredibly fast. And with Blood Rush pushing that crit chance higher and higher as the combo goes up, it really does help keep those crits going at all times. The second build though is replacing Berserker with Maiming Strike. Now I got quite a bit of feedback on my Tellus Boltus video and the lack of room for Organ Shatter on the Blood Rush build, and I got suggested to replace Berserker with Organ Shatter. This actually worked pretty well for me, and the reason I say that is that in this case Prime Reach is effectively your speed mod. Speed mods on single target weapons means that you are taking out that singular target way more easily, way more quickly. However, with weapons with a huge slide attack damage as well as insane range like any of the polearms, the fact that you are always hitting multiple targets at once kind of justifies losing that attack speed for me. Plus the fact that this guarantees a red crit on every single slide attack, it just pushes that damage so much higher it's unreal. Which build is going to be best for you, that's going to depend on your playstyle, whether you mind losing a bit of speed for more damage, and whether you're going to spend the entire time slide attacking. I like both of the builds, to be honest. It depends a lot on the content you're going to be doing which one I would go for. Higher level, I would go for the slide attack, especially if you're going to do things like diving into high level nullifier bubbles, trying to slide attack kill and get away. At lower levels, the extra damage is really just simply overkill. So I would go with Berserker, and the beauty is that the former done this way allows for both builds, so mess around with them, see which one fits you. So what do I think of it in general? Well, I already said it's my second favourite of the new Syndicate weapons, just behind the Tellus Boltus, and that's because it's got an interesting mechanic to it, that radial blind. It's true that it can be a little bit weird to charge, and maybe 15 is a bit of a high number when you consider you can't use the weapon at all until it's actually charged. Otherwise, you're going to completely get rid of the amount you've already charged. But being able to blind an entire room of people by blinding them and then escaping if you're in imminent danger, it's not great. It's not only great fun to do, but also highly effective. We all know that crowd control is the high-end meta in the game right now. So including a 24-meter AoE crowd control on a melee weapon is always going to be really strong. Putting on a weapon as decent as the Vaykor Sydon, it's a good combo, and one that I've had a lot of fun messing about with an electric chroma and this. Kind of wish that mods that increase the status effect duration would increase the time that the blind affects them, because this could actually increase the amount of really weird builds that you could come up with. Plus, there seems to be still a thing with Rhino that means you literally cannot block shots with your melee at all when you've got your iron skin up, which means that you simply cannot use the passive ability of the Vaykor Sydon at all, which is kind of dumb really. But hey, maybe this will finally get fixed, since it's been a thing for as long as I can remember now. But these melee weapons have been so much fun to play around with. Finally, some interesting mechanics to derp around with while you slice people's faces off. I'm really happy with how most of these melee weapons have turned out, so I'm going to be doing another interesting one tomorrow, and that is going to be the Sancti Magistar. The Vaykor Sydon though, it's a fantastic weapon. The range of the weapon combined with the range of the blind and the damage this thing puts out, it has been a ton of fun to derp around with, and one I would definitely recommend picking up. So as always, many thanks for watching, and I shall see you in the next video.